getting a blend of art into jewelry and creating new pieces is an obvious outcome for us.
What does certification play a role in the jewelry industry?
Italy is one of the major centers of production in the world. They have good expertise on manufacturing aspects.
A jewelry consumer going to any jewelry store, what are the third parties they should look for in the certification?
Having this in picture, your product is safe, well invested, and stands as a heirloom down the years. Solitaires per se have always been a very niche and high aloof and non-approachable category.
Obsession with Solitaire and how you're providing more visibility.
We proudly sell 100,000 diamonds showcased online live, which have been certified, which have been videographed for transparency's sake.
Welcome to Jewellery Insider with Shan Chawla. Today we are back again at GJS, a concept of Jewelry World exhibition. Today with me I have one of the Bandra's leading jeweler and an art enthusiast with me, Rajiv Popley himself from Popley Sons. How are you doing, Rajiv? Tell us about yourself and your brand.
Thanks, Shan and Arjun, for getting me here. Popley has been a 100-year-old brand. We'll be a century old in another 3 years and spanning across 3 generations. We've been in the industry seeing days from Karachi to Mumbai and beyond. Now that we've got stores in Dubai also. So that's our bandwidth that's grown over 3 generations. Proud to be part of the family which has evolved through times and seen the changes of evolution of the jewelry industry to where we are today, in a very, you can say, global environment, which was quite restrained from where we started. Our products and our retailing expertise has moved from sourcing to selling internationally, and that's the big change that we see, which is happening in the industry also. The entire globalization of the Indian retail, both as sourcing and selling, has happened, and we've been happily been a proud participant to the entire exercise of change.
Nice.
Sure. So, wanting to understand, is Popley Sons, just for the pricing concept of it, is Popley Sons completely backward integrated? And if yes, then how much?
We've been backward integrated, in fact, far beyond the other retail that was happening. Thanks to my father, who was a chemical engineer.
That's
he could
amazing.
see the entire industry in a backward integrated format because of his expertise of manufacturing that he came in from, and the expertise of design that he evolved from. So creating a piece in a competitive manner and then offering it on retail front to show competitive of retail as an exercise on the whole was his USP.
Okay.
And we've grown with that as a subject going ahead. And hence we've been competitive in exports, we've been competitive in the retail expansion that has happened. And till today, our backbone has been a loyalty of customers that we boast on, which is unique because we've been with them through generations, again the same way as we've been servicing across 3 generations. So even now we have consumers who come in, who are the 2nd and 3rd generation consumers coming back to us for designs and for the pricing and the product that we offer, which is unique in spite of the competitive scenario that we live in.
That's true.
You talked about designs, and there are unique designs which you specialize in, especially with your art-inspired knowledge. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So art's been in our pulse of design anyways, and I on a personal basis have been intrigued into art and collection of art pieces and been an admirer of various artists internationally. A blend of this coming into jewelry was very obvious because we've been brought up with the gold spoon theory, as we always speak as jewelers, So talking about jewelry from breakfast to dinner has been part of our conversations across. Getting a blend of art into jewelry and creating new pieces is an obvious outcome for us. It's not something which has happened intentionally, but purely out of the upbringing that we come from. And this has grown and become serious as a category. Now that I have my own line of jewelry, which is signed off by me literally on the piece itself, speaks about my artwork, colors in my artwork to gemstones, cuts to designs, and metal that we do a very stubborn combination with in platinum. All this put across on a 3D printed platform to an Indian consumer, which is a very unique offering that we do. And all this blends up being a good masterpiece, which is more like a heirloom to pass on with. So I feel the consumers have also matured to understand that they need something different and not something which is westernly designed or inspired from, which is normally what we understand as jewelry experts. This is the trend which is happening today.
So the amalgamation of the backward integration being connected to the production or the manufacturing part of it and keeping the design on the top has worked really well with the brand, I feel.
That's it.
And speaking about art, you were talking about stubborn design combination.
Stubborn combination.
Stubborn. What is stubborn combination in jewelry?
So what we normally see is making products which are mass produced in easy metals like 18 karat gold, putting in smaller diamonds to complete the designs, and more importantly getting inspirations from international designers and brands and creating a blend and calling it a unique creation is not what we look at. It's just contrary to everything that I just said. So I look at designs which are inspired from my artwork, colors of gemstones coming from my artwork, cuts of diamonds are unique to my artwork, and more importantly we blended all this in platinum, which is a very stubborn metal to work on from manufacturing point of view. Because we have the technology of 3D printing, all this is possible literally, and I have expertise of getting sources internationally to do certain masters for me, which is not otherwise possible in India, especially when you talk about platinum. I do a lot of 3D printing work in Italy and other places, and get the masters down to India so that we can fabricate it finally in India. So this entire combination, which is honestly not viable in mathematical terms, we try to do a stubborn output of this. And because it's my own passion as a category to take challenges in design and manufacturing, is why I call this a stubborn combination.
And we have heard jewelers talk about Italian design. Why is Italian design so special, and why are they so special?
I wouldn't say that. I don't endorse that strategy of Italian design being special. Yes, it is a trend which is accepted internationally. Italy has been, you can say, the epitome of design in many categories, not only jewelry. It can be fashion, it can be leather and luxury accessories also. In jewelry, we have a lot of our own genes to talk about, and I don't think Italy can dominate that in any manner. Yes, in expertise of manufacturing, because Italy is one of the major centers of production in the world, they have good expertise on manufacturing aspects, especially when you look at 3D printing and other things. Italy does good and has been pioneering in certain aspects of technology. But we have enough of our own heritage and our own heirloom culture that we bank on. And we've seen that across. We've seen Cartier designing pieces for India with an Indian touch.
That's true.
Way back in history. It's
for
not
Maharaja
something new.
Ranjit Singh.
Exactly. So that's nothing new for India to see that designs are created for the Indian consumer more than we following international designs.
That's true.
And talking about design and fashion, I can see that watch which you're wearing. It looks like a piece of art. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure, thanks. Thanks for that compliment. Of course, it's a piece of art to me. That's why I picked it up. It was part of the Petrograd collection, which was created way back in 1915 by Omega. And being affiliated with the brand for many years, we had the access to request the president of Omega's who was then Mr. Stephen Urquhart, to create a piece for us which was unique, and this was a recreation of the same piece. It is serial numbered FOUR in literal sense of an alphabet, more than digit serialing, because it's so unique as a creation that they don't normally recreate such pieces.
Yeah.
It's been a museum collection and it's not in the catalog. It's not a piece that you can order over the counter or even request the brand as on today.
Yeah.
They won't recreate it for sure.
And what's
Guys, do not mistake it for a Frank Miller because it is way beyond that.
what is a museum collection for the audience?
So a museum collection is something which was a part of the collection in you can say probably more than a few decades old. This was 1915, so we're talking about as good as 9 decades old as a collection in 1915, and something which is recreated on the request of the authority of the brand, which is then Mr. Urquhart, who was the president of the brand of Omega, had commissioned a recreation of the collection. Something which is not in the normal collection in the catalog, and this is far beyond a limited series.
So shifting towards our focus towards the main aspect of the business is the consumer.
Yeah.
So what does certification play a role in the jewelry industry?
So we've been pioneers in transparency to the consumer as a brand and as a principle at work. This has been our basic aim, to communicate to the consumer what we sell, the way we price it, and that's how we develop a relationship over generations with the same consumer and the family. Typically how we call as a family doctor, we've been the family jeweler.
Yeah.
These are our attributes to the consumer. Getting transparency in a manner which is understood internationally is what we call certification. It's nothing unique as a term, but it's just a matter of saying honestly what we talk about and helping a third party agency which is internationally acclaimed to endorse the same. This is how we call certification in simple words. So when we look at gold, we understand BIS hallmarking came in the year 2000.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for the past 8 to 9 years before that also. Because we've been acclaimed by the hallmarking authority of Dubai, which is UAE. The Barik Awards was acclaimed to have established hallmarking way before that. So we've adapted it far before the actual launch of BIS. Same way, certification in India, diamond jewelry certification was not over the counter available. We've got it existing for the past 20 years. On our floor, each and every piece of jewelry that you buy is already certified. Even a nose pin on the floor is certified. So irrespective of the value that you buy, transparency is the benchmark. Now we've got international agencies, laboratories which are endorsing such things, which are acclaimed and acknowledged by every jeweler across jewelry streets. So if you go to a jewelry street which is say New York 5th Avenue and you show my jewelry across, the certification is the same which he will be providing also.
That's true.
So it's immaterial of where you bought from. My product is good anywhere in the world. And that's normally what we see today. Consumers like you are also traveling.
That's
you
true.
may have a base in India today, you may shift base to New York. Doesn't mean your value of jewelry diminishes, which is very important. Our jewelry is here to stay as a heirloom. So the basic certificates and the quality have to be at par internationally.
Simplifying the certification, a jewelry consumer going to any jewelry store, what are the third parties they should look for in the certification and things in the certification?
So it's very basic, it's very natural that it comes out as a category. When you look at gold, a BIS hallmark is acknowledged worldwide. It's a benchmark which is very clear. There are no intolerant areas in that, so it's 100% tolerance is the only benchmark which is there. Similarly, we have diamonds. We've got international laboratories which are there in the diamond industry. GIA is for solitaires, IGI again for solitaires and jewelry. We've got HRD also which comes into picture, and there are a couple of others which are maybe smaller in size but internationally acclaimed like a DGLA and likewise. So these are international laboratories which are acknowledged anywhere in the world, and they stand good for their repute that they are endorsing the category. And most of the jewelers who are in the fraternity respect and appreciate such certificates. Similarly, if you look at platinum as a base metal, PGI is the most important authority in platinum in the world. and PGA has acknowledged United Laboratories as the laboratory to endorse platinum. This is good anywhere in the world. So even if I take my piece of jewelry to Japan tomorrow, a platinum piece is acknowledged the same way as it would be done anywhere in the world. Having this in picture, your product is safe, well invested, and stands as a heirloom down the years.
That's amazing. I think a lot of people out there didn't really know that platinum does have a certification,
Yes.
and now they are quite aware of it. Thanks to you, Rajiv.
My pleasure.
I want to change track and talk about something which caught my attention, which was your obsession with Solitaire and how you're providing more visibility from your brand by
Sure.
listing all the prices and the pictures of 100,000
Yes.
100,000 designs,
100,000
diamonds, which
And-
you have been listing out and
Yes.
showcasing. So, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So the whole idea again came from the transparency and the entire ambiguity which lies in the diamond industry. Solitaires per se have always been a very niche and high aloof and non-approachable category for consumers who are new to the category for buying a first solitaire. So there's always ambiguity, and we had some hints of 4Cs and likewise to understand what one should buy. But at no jewelry store would you walk in and get a transparent price on a diamond and a transparency as to what you're buying compared to anything else which can be made available.
Yeah.
So it's always a jeweler would have a restricted inventory because of the value, and that restricted inventory is supposed to be the best in the world,
Yeah.
which is not a honest story
Yeah.
in some extent, you know. So more than me selling what I have, I ask the consumer what they want.
Yeah.
And make it as simple as one can be, as even buying a ticket online.
Yeah.
So it's like how you choose to buy a airline ticket online. I want to make it as simple as buying a diamond online.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
that's the transparency we came out with.
And how?
Sorry. Speaking about the rarity of the solitaire, rarity of a solitaire versus a regular pointer diamond, how would you differentiate that?
Every diamond is rare. Every diamond
Definitely.
is unique. Nothing is regular on a diamond, I would say. The whole beauty of a diamond is a mystery.
Yeah.
The mystery behind the way it was created by nature is very important. That's what we always bank on. Every piece of diamond on the floor is purely natural. And that's how it is rare and unique. Nevertheless, there are certain benchmarks which put them on a platform for grading, and that's how the price is attained. These two put together is how the transparency comes in the category, and that's what we bank on.
So, what makes a solitaire a solitaire?
So you mean to say the flair behind the brand and the category? It's the uniqueness of the piece. Every diamond that you pick up is a thumbprint.
Okay.
No two diamonds can be identical.
Okay.
That's the part of nature.
What is thumbprint for the audience?
A thumbprint is uniqueness.
Okay.
So no two thumbprints, as we understand,
Yeah.
are same.
Oh,
No two.
you wonder what is
He thought it's some jargon jewelers use.
it's a thumbprint, basically.
yeah, we-
No two diamonds are same.
Okay.
Same like a thumbprint.
Yeah.
No two thumbprints can be same.
Yeah.
So that's the uniqueness in the diamond, and that's why a diamond is so rare.
Understood.
The whole the actual word by itself means that no two diamonds can be replicated. Hence, a certification only puts them on a benchmark to
Yeah.
understand the pricing and justify the same to the consumer and back in the trade.
Yeah.
That's typically how it works, and that's what our website has done to make it simple for a consumer, a first timer buying the first engagement ring, and the only engagement that I hope you would be buying is done transparently,
Yeah.
which is very important.
So, speaking about e-commerce, your website, how does e-commerce play a role at Popley Sons versus the jewelry industry as wide?
It's a little different because we've been into the category of e-commerce for the past 27 years precisely.
Oh wow!
Far before it was launched in the category. We've been there at the times of far before eBay's and the Rediffs of the world that we evolved from. We were actually fighting with e-commerce in jewelry, with fruits, with flowers and chocolates. That was the area when e-commerce actually evolved. Credit card payments were very difficult. That's the scenario we came from to where we are today. We proudly sell 100,000 diamonds showcased online live.
Yeah.
you can actually pick up from the 100,000 diamonds which have been certified, which have been videographed for transparency's sake. And I've got consumers which are from all parts of the world today. My website is a geo-located site, which means it opens up to the country that you come from, speaks in the language of the country that you come from,
Okay.
and it converts the same currency and gives the same price to every person who's there across.
Understood.
So that's a dynamism of e-commerce which helps transparency come in.
So a consumer can just open his phone, search Popley and Son, go to the website, go to the solitaire segment of it, and just see all the solitaires available with you, with the pricing, with the grading, with the clarity, with the. That's quite
There's
good.
nothing that he has to think as an add-on. To the extent of GST and delivery charges are also included in the product category.
Perfect.
So there's no ifs and buts and nothing, no asterisk marks coming in. More than that, you can even build a ring, which is what we've just evolved with. Like you said, 100,000 diamonds. I've got a probability ratio of that into the number of designs, and you can actually build over 1 million designs with the builder ring and get your engagement ring customized to the T online, sitting wherever you are in the world.
And you talked about something which was so interesting. You started e-commerce 25-30 years back, and this is around the 99 boom which happened,
Yes.
or the dot-com bubble.
That's right.
Why did you start this, and what is this obsession with e-commerce? Why are you so interested with e-commerce?
So it's the whole idea was to go beyond the geographical reach that we are working in. Since I said we are a third generation company, my consumers have been moving ever since, and there has always been a demand of consumers coming from various parts of the globe
Yeah.
and in India, of course, to reach out to them in some manner of showcasing a catalog,
Yeah.
talking to them in a better manner, and reaching out to them to do business, which otherwise is not possible in the brick and mortar format,
Yeah.
So that's where the whole idea of demand came in, and we've always moved towards our demand, whether it's a design, whether it's the reach, whether it's geographical reach. And that's when we came into the area where we opened a store in Dubai also. So 93 we opened a store in Dubai, and 93 onwards we got across to the international shores. And that's been the area where we've got to access consumers demanding certain aspects of design, gifts, which have been to ship overseas or to consumers in India, with brothers staying overseas gifting the Rakhi to India, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So this is how it's been as an evolution of demand, and we've followed the demand basically.
And what I can sense so far from our conversation is your company has been ahead of its time with this .com e-commerce obsession or e-commerce, and then having these 100,000 listed on with all transparency. You also
That's right.
talked about something which happened in 1988, something about gold. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So, like we've said, we've evolved with times from the primitive way of retailing to the evolution the industry has faced across. So,
Yeah.
we had a redundant law in 1988, which was 87, which was abolished, called gold control. Gold control was a very primitively created law,
Yeah.
not updated to time, and it was a redundant situation for the industry from growth
Okay.
aspect.
Yeah.
And fortunately, with my family's dedication and the delegations that went in those times to the government, the law was abolished, and the gold control free jewelry industry was an evolution by itself.
Yeah.
There were very redundant formations of the law, which even spoke about no two showrooms under the same company. That was the aspect of the redundancy which was really needed to be abolished, and that's where the industry grew and multiple branches and stores
Okay.
came up.
Yeah.
And we were one of the first ones to branch out instantly as soon as the law was abolished to have another branch by itself.
Yeah.
So, again, so I'm someone who is an advocate for the consumers. I love to be for them.
Sure.
So, I want one common question which I get a lot is: are diamonds only white in color?
Oh, you know about gemology, diamonds are various colors.
Can you give some
the
examples?
most commonly known color or mined color is white. And that's what we are always fluent with as an aspect. But of course, the origination of a diamond, grows into the color part of it also. The amount of radiation it has gone through millions of years, the amount of minerals it has been interacted with way back in the mantle derives the color. So end of the day, it's a natural source. It has its own formation, it has its own culture from where it is evolved, and that's what brings out the color. Some colors are called negatives to the color to the stone, and some are called unique aspects to the stone.
Can you give that some colors would be?
So when we talk about real fancy colors, we look at yellow color, which is one of the most commonly known fancy colors, which is of course far more premium than a white diamond.
Okay.
Its unique accessibility gives you the price premiumness, and that's it's currently in demand because we understand the maturity of the market has come into India also. So Indian consumers are demanding. My website has that access also again. So you have an entire section which is only on fancy diamonds.
Oh wow.
Again, unique to India because there's no website talking about fancy diamonds till now. We've already done that across, and we have an entire consumer demand which goes from fancy yellow to pink to blue to green and so on and so forth. Of course, in the same synchronicity, the price also changes.
Okay.
A pink diamond is far more rarer than a yellow, and a blue even more rarer. And that's how the price also changes. Of course, the more unique the piece, the more in demand. And of course, the shades of the blue and the pink also demand are different with the price. So all this probably depends on the origination of the diamond. The mantle is where the diamond has been created way back millions of years ago. And that's what you're currently mining.
Perfect. Let's do. Actually, the color part of it intrigued me quite a lot. Let's do an exercise, Rajiv.
Sure.
So you have
As much as I know.
definitely you have a white diamond, a blue diamond, a pink diamond, and a yellow diamond. How would be the pricing hierarchy of it?
So blue is the topmost, most rare, very unique by nature, and the color by itself is having a lot of mystery. Pink is the next to the blue.
The one which is worn by the Ambanis quite often.
Yeah, they wear
Quite
many
often.
things. Lose track of them
That's
by the
true.
day to last what you saw. But of course, if you look at international brands like a Harry Winston and the Graphs of the world, they have these collections for the consumers. Of course, their connoisseurs appreciate such pieces. Pink is again a very unique color, very lovable color. It has its own mystery, and it is second to a blue. Between the pink and the yellow, you also have a green, which comes up as a unique color more than the yellow. Of course, all these have their originations in the mantle, as I said. Boron mixtures, different minerals which are existing at the same time, the radiation that one gets as a gemstone to create such a color is how the colors are originated basically. And the rarity depends on how we've mined it till now. So that's purely how the pricing and the availability also depends.
Imagine a 15-year-old girl asking you, how does a diamond change its color?
Change its color? Oh, it's changed millions of years ago. So it's not happened after mining. It's been there in the mantle. Boron mixtures add a certain tinge to the color. Radiations in the diamond add another color tinge. All this happens way back a million kilometers down in the mantle. Little less for us to understand that easily, but this is how we learned and read, and out of the intellect that we've gained through the years, we understood. But not something for a 15-year-old. I think she should appreciate the smile on the giver and accept that as the best diamond possible.
You being a dominant player in the Mumbai market for a long time, how does jewelry in Mumbai versus jewelry in Pan-India differ?
So the good part in India per se is there are a lot of cultures that create collections, which is very unique by itself to any other country in the world. India is a mixture of more than 25-30 countries. That's the culture that we come from. Every aspect, every 50 to 100 kilometers is a different culture, language, food, and so on and so forth, which is the aspect of love that we come from in the country. Mumbai has a very good mix of this in one city. being a metropolitan city, cosmopolitan in nature, it's got a mix of lot of them in a single city and a country that we come from. So that's very good because these designs have been a mix of everything.
Okay.
And that's the good aspect that we look at Mumbai per se. And this is the uniqueness of Mumbai standing out to the entire country on the whole. It's got a mix of south, east, west and north all put into one city, and that dominates from the people that live in it, which we see ourselves. You know, we've got an entire mix in the city, very rare to anywhere in the country, in fact.
Okay.
And there's no single culture which dominates Mumbai. It's the mix of everything which dominates Mumbai.
So my last question to you, Rajiv, is if a lady is looking for the best solitaires, where can they find in Mumbai?
Obviously at my store, obviously with me, but more importantly, it comes from the heart of the giver, which is very important. So I feel that's more important from where it's come, and to help the heart is where I come into picture.
That's amazing.
Um,
I think that was really talking about many concepts. That was art,
Yeah, yeah.
designs, the diamond, the colors of the diamond, giving
Yeah, transparency,
Yes.
many aspects you
giving a
got.
lot of viewpoints for a consumer, for a designer as well,
Sure,
and someone who's looking to come up with a brand such as Popley Sons.
sure.
So that was lovely speaking with you, Rajiv.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Hope to have another podcast. With
Yeah,
you soon.
sure. Drop into the store sometime. We'll do one there.
Let's take a picture. Sure. Take a picture. We are done.